Hello, my friends. This is not FPS Russia, but I have something very special for you today. I have a message. The message is, wake up, America! So why'd you click on this video? I don't know why you did, but you did, and you're here now, and that's what matters. So let's talk. This world has problems, doesn't it? It doesn't take a genius to tell you that. But if you make nice speeches about it, you might just get elected president of the United States, and the world will throw in a Nobel Peace Prize. Why did they throw in the Peace Prize? I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like one of those infomercial things where they throw the knives in at the end. But anyways, here's another little trick of the trade. If you say, let me be clear a lot, people won't really listen to what you say. They'll just assume that since you said you'd be clear, your point must be clear, even if the sum total of what you say amounts to a huge, enormous pile of bovine manure. You don't believe me? It works.
So let's be clear. So let me be clear. Now let me be clear. Now let me be clear. Let me be absolutely clear.
See? What'd I tell you? And here's another little step in the road to seizing power over an incredibly gullible population. Coin a one-word slogan. Ambiguous, yet effective. Actually, the more ambiguous it is, the better. Believe me. Take change, for example. Change can be interpreted in so many different ways. Change can be good, or it can be bad. Change might be what's left in your bank account after you have to pay tuition, or after taxes. Yeah, it's bad. Change might describe the course of action you need to take when a diaper stinks. Ever thought of that? And then some people will interpret change as the answer to everything. The fix-all, end-all formula to solving all the world's problems compressed into a single 6-letter word. That last interpretation may seem a little far-fetched, but it happens apparently. Take what happened 4 years ago. See, that's part of the problem. We've got multiple problems. We've established that. Multiple problems, kind of like multiple blood-sucking parasites clinging to the underside of humanity, or multiple liberals on the same talk show. You know how certain species get overpopulated? I'm going off on a tangent here, but listen to me. You know, like urban raccoons and venomous vipers that were once exotic pets but soon become irritating pests? We've got a problem with the media being seriously overpopulated with raging liberals. Yeah, that's right. That's just one of the problems. But how can we fix them? That's the issue. That's the burning question, burning as strong as the fire in Clinton's pants once did.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people.
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, what a role model! Woo! And yet he's part of the reason some Americans are going to vote for Obama. A lot of Americans are saying, well, I don't particularly like Obama, but I like Clinton. He was a good president. The fat 90s, it was good years. Woohoo, yeah. Let's vote for his candidate. Clinton was the keynote speaker at the Democratic National Convention, and he's campaigning for Obama right now. Since Obama's too busy manufacturing a diaper to cover up his rear end after 4 years of disastrous change. Cover-ups. Nixon got caught up in one of those, didn't he? Didn't we impeach Nixon? Huh. Just a thought. So Clinton is doing his best to promote a man whom he at one point called an amateur.
Quote, Obama doesn't know how to be president. He doesn't know how the world works. He's incompetent. Barack Obama is an amateur.
Sense. Give me a break. This whole thing is the biggest fairy tale I've ever seen.
So shame on you, Barack Obama.
This election, to me, is about which candidate is more likely to return us to full employment. This is a clear choice. President Obama has a plan to rebuild America from the ground up, investing in innovation, education, and job training. It only works if there is a strong middle class. That's what happened when I was president. We need to keep going with his plan.
Oh, shut up.
Real patriotic, Billy. I'm sure you want the best for this country. But anyways, let's narrow our focus. I love this country with all of my heart and soul. The United States has done so much for this world. We are a beacon of hope and freedom. Together with our allies, we're pursuing those who seek to do us harm. We are liberating the oppressed. But there's no denying that we've got enemies. And, Mr. Obama, between you and me, you can't negotiate with people when their #1 goal is to kill you. Just saying. There are evil people in this world who would like to do us and our allies harm. People like Ahmadinejad and the mullahs in Iran, Assad and his butchers in Syria, fanatical extremists who slaughter even their own. Raging socialists like Chavez in Venezuela. Remember him? The list goes on and on. But our enemies aren't just the evil villains and terrorists who like to watch the world burn. Nah, there's a much larger threat. A threat that has infiltrated even our own ranks. Stupid people. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe stupid is too coarse. How about ignorant people? Whatever you decide to label it, ignorance is a problem. Democracy is dependent on certain conditions. One of them is that the population has to think. We have to be well informed so that we can hold our leaders accountable. But when our citizens don't think anymore, when we don't care, when we hold ridiculous celebrities in a higher regard than the servicemen and women who secure our freedoms, we've got problems. When we choose leaders based on tweets, celebrity endorsements, or 30-second TV spots, we've got problems. When a stream of fake statistics and outright lies presented by the media makes us forget 4 years of failed leadership, we've got problems. So what's the point of this video? I'm going to come right out and say it. The point of this video is to make you think. That's right, think. It's something that has to be done, especially when you're facing important choices. As a nation, we've got an important decision coming up in a matter of days. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, and I'm trying my best to prevent my personal bias from coming through. Wait, I got to stretch all of a sudden. Ah! Oh yeah, good stretch. It's always important to stretch. Did I say I wasn't going to show my bias? Yeah, right. At least I'm honest, right? Unlike the news.
Governor, if you want to reply quickly to this, please.
I certainly do. I think it's interesting the president just said something which is that on the day after the attack, he went in the Rose Garden and said that this was an act of terror. That's what I said. You said in the Rose Garden, the day after the attack, it was an act of terror. It was not a spontaneous demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
I want to make sure we get that for the record, because it took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
He did, in fact, sir. So let me call it an act of terror.
Can you say that a little louder, Candy?
He did call it an act of terror.
Again, I'd heard the president's speech at the time. I sort of reread a lot of stuff about Libya because I knew we'd probably get a Libya question, so I kind of wanted to be up on it. So I knew that the president had said, you know, these acts of terror won't stand, or whatever the whole quote was. And I think actually, you know, because right after that, I did turn around and say, but you're totally correct, that they spent 2 weeks telling us this was about a tape, and that there was this riot outside the Benghazi consulate, which there wasn't. So he was right in the main. I just think he picked the wrong word. And
Oh, shut up.
Let's delve in, shall we? We're facing serious challenges as a nation, but it seems that so many of us are in a trance. We're focused on things that don't really matter, and at the same time, we're facing challenges that could do us in, and we're ignoring them. In most cases, ignorance is not a permanent condition. It doesn't have to be. It's been said that stupidity isn't a crime, but it should be. There are solutions, though not all of them are socially acceptable. Ignorance is rampant, much like fat people in spandex and congressmen getting excited with camera phones. Oh no! Close your eyes! Turn it off! Turn it off! Ah! My eyes! They burn! Oh, sorry about that. All jokes aside, and really, I don't think that was a joke. That was scarring. But anyways, Ignorance is deadly when it's coupled with apathy. It's as deadly as modern network programming. I mean, stop and think about some of the programs we've got airing nowadays. They could be parodied as 2.5 Should End and Modern Catastrophe. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. No wonder so many in our world want to kill us. There is an antidote to ignorance. It's called wisdom. And wisdom is born out of a genuine desire to discover the truth and act accordingly. But it's scarce, wisdom is. It's as scarce as backbones in Washington. Do you know that there's a world-renowned zoo in Washington? Yeah, I'm not talking about the real zoo. It's got one of the biggest collections of invertebrates in the whole world, second only to the United Nations in New York. Oh my gosh, that was good! Didn't they look so happy to be there? Yeah. Well, the fact that we have more politicians than leaders is our fault, because we choose who leads us. It's time we stop acting like dumb sheep. It's time we stop standing idly by, watching our country going to hell in a handbasket. Something has to be done. We all have to think. We all have to take action. There is no middle ground. If you love this country, you cannot sit out this election, and you cannot act without thinking. The freedom we enjoy is unparalleled. You know what? You want to be stupid? You want to be ignorant? You have the right to. You have the freedom to. Be stupid. You'll make a fool out of yourself, but you're free to do it. But what happens when a huge chunk of the population chooses to be stupid? The nation pays the price, and our freedom is imperiled. We've inherited our freedom, but we can lose it. We are responsible for our own actions. We cannot continue to take our freedoms for granted. And we can't continue to treat politics and the question of who our next leader will be like some inconsequential game, electing the president based on random polls, MTV interviews, late-night talk shows, talking heads on daytime talk shows, pre-sorted and pre-processed information, decisions others make, and we simply follow. Don't take everything you hear and repeat it like some sort of recorder. Think about it. You know what? I once had somebody tell me that if you're young and you're not a liberal, you don't have a soul. My reply to that is that just because you're young, it doesn't mean you have to be dumb. This election is serious. It's not about Republican or Democrat, black or white, rich or poor. We've got people promoting all of these divisions instead of trying to unite us. We've lost sight of the fact that we cannot continue as a nation without facing our problems as one. United we stand, divided we fall. Remember? The challenges we face require us to unite and make the right choice. People will always disagree, and I cannot imagine some of the obscene comments that are going to pop up down there. But please, try and keep it civil. But for the sake of all that is good, let's think about what's important here. We're not just voting for the president for the next 4 years. We're probably voting for the next 3 Supreme Court justices. Supreme Court justices serve for life. Did you know that? Our vote will determine our military's ability to defend us for decades to come. It will determine whether or not our military is properly funded and equipped to face growing threats. Our vote will determine whether or not constitutional rights, such as the freedom of religion and the right to bear arms, are upheld or violated. Our vote will determine whether or not the government continues to fund murder in the form of abortion. Listen to me. How can we possibly say that 2 men or 2 women have the right to marry, or that somebody can marry whoever they want, love is love? How can we say that that is a right, while at the same time we strip unborn children, unborn Americans, of the right to live? Don't you see a problem there? Think about that. There are so many things at stake here. And neither one of the candidates is some sort of savior, don't get me wrong. But they do represent 2 very different paths and ideologies. You may not like either one of the candidates. You may not like politics. But you know what? It's the card we've been dealt. And we've got to make a choice. We've got to make a decision. Because ultimately, our decisions are going to determine which way this nation goes. So for the love of this country, for the sake of our future generations, I implore you to think this one through. There's so much at stake here. It's not just about the economy. It's about our identity, our destiny, our survival as a nation. Think about that and make the right choice.
There goes the cows to vote.
Yes, the cows are going to vote. The cows are going to vote! Follow them!